What's up, guys? So it is finally time for me to bring you guys my official table predictions for the Premier League. As you can see, guys, I'm filming this video quite late tonight. I'm filming this on Wednesday night. I'll be getting the video out on Thursday, and I've got to do this one very quickly and get it out urgently because the season literally starts on Friday, and throughout the rest of the week, I don't have any other times to post this video because I am doing my championship videos, my championship week 2 predictions tomorrow with Josh, and I'll be posting that on Friday, and on the Saturday I am doing my matchday vlog between Southampton and Stoke City. So yeah, this week is fully clogged with a lot of content for you guys, so yeah, I'm going to try and get this Premier League table predictions video out as quickly as I possibly can, and yeah, hope you'll enjoy it. As always, guys, before we get into the predictions, please drop a like on today's video and also subscribe to this channel. We are on the road to 1,000 subscribers. Thank you guys so much for the support. It does really mean the world to me, and let's get straight into those predictions. Okay, so going down in 20th place, my first team getting relegated, I've gone with Hull City. Now, this one may come as no surprise because quite a lot of people have Hull to finish bottom, and rightly so. I had Hull to finish a little bit higher in my early predictions, maybe because when they came up, I feel like they needed to do the most transfer business out of all the teams coming up, and so far they haven't. Their transfer business has been quite quiet. They've been linked with some good players, but they haven't officially signed them yet, which is really concerning for me. So unfortunately, Hull fans, now under Jukirovic, I do think they'll give the Premier League a good go. Under Jukirovic during the Championship season, he was keeping Hull City quite tight, quite defensively good, and I feel like they'll bring that into the Premier League, and I feel like they'll be in quite a lot of the games, but I don't think they're going to have enough to stay up at all. So I'm sorry, Hull fans, I'm going to have you to go down in last place. Next up, going down in 19th place, I've got Ipswich Town. Now, the real concern for me for Ipswich was losing Kieran McKenna. I thought Kieran McKenna was a perfect fit for Ipswich, and we quite saw that in the past 3 seasons that he was there. And I know he's been there for a little bit longer, but during the first Championship season that he was there, the Premier League and the Championship season just gone, you could definitely tell that he was the perfect fit for them. Got a lot of good results out of them, bought a lot of good quality players. He built the squad that was in the Premier League all the way up ready for that Championship season that they had last season. And this time around, they've made a few good signings, bringing lots of Diop from Fulham. They've made permanent signings of Chuba Akpom, Fatawu, etc. They've done a lot of good business. However, 3 teams have to go down. Unfortunately, I do think Ipswich might be one of them. So yeah, 19th place for me. Now in 18th place, my final team going down, I was really struggling between 3 teams, and I've had to pick one. I've gone with Crystal Palace. Now, I know what a lot of people are thinking. They're probably going to be like, oh my god, why have we got Crystal Palace to finish in 18th place? Now, it's the new manager for me. Pierre Sage, I think his name is. We don't know much about him. The only thing we know is that he came from Lens and he did really well for Lens last season, got to finish second, were really good in Ligue 1 last season. But the thing with me is that this big step from Ligue 1 to the Premier League is massive. And the fact that Crystal Palace have Europe this season, and they had Europe last season, and they managed to survive, but their league form was nowhere near as good as the European form, if that makes sense. So they went all the way to win Europe. They went all the way to win the Europa Conference League last season, but their Premier League form fizzled out after they literally, once they started playing European games, their Premier League form just really dropped. I just feel fear for them a little bit there. I feel like now that they've got Europa League, they could put a lot of attention into that, and I just don't know whether Pierre Sage will be able to juggle both, because he got Lens in second, but he hasn't been in the European leagues with Lens yet. He just got on second, and I've come over to Crystal Palace. So I just feel like Crystal Palace may struggle next season, and this time around their transfer business hasn't been the worst, but it has certainly hasn't been very promising. So I do feel like Crystal Palace might struggle with individual quality and having a new manager not being well known. And the Premier League is a massive league. Everybody knows that Premier League is the best league in the world with a lot of really really good teams, and like recently, especially you get teams that surprise you. Like last season, no one expected Wolves and West Ham to go down, and they did. And that was two really established Premier League sides, especially West Ham. They've been there for over 12 years, and they got relegated. So maybe Crystal Palace might have that this time. Like we saw Southampton get relegated after more than 11 years. Last season it was West Ham. Is it going to be Crystal Palace this time round? I think it might be. So yeah, 18th place for Palace for me, but I'm happy to be proven wrong. Okay, in 17th place, just surviving, I've got newly promoted Coventry City. Now, as of the three promoted teams, Coventry are 100% going to have the most momentum coming into the season after having a really, really good winning season last season. They finished top of the league with nearly 100 points. They scored over 100 goals, and I thought they were really, really good last season. They took the league by storm, ran through a lot of teams as well, and I feel like if they take that momentum into the Premier League, they could do very well. They've got Frank Lampard, who is experienced in the Premier League, so he knows what he's doing. I like their signings, Frank Onyeka from Brentford being one of them, and especially recently they bought Taiwo Awoniyi from Nottingham Forest, and when he's fit, he's a brilliant player. So I really hope he does well for Coventry. I feel like Coventry might be the surprising team next season and stay up. So 17th place for me. Next up, in 16th place, I've got Fulham. Now, Fulham are really concerning me at the moment, especially with the loss of Marco Silva. I thought he was brilliant for Fulham, kept Fulham's really good form in the Premier League going for quite a long time. And now it's a big change. Fulham having a lot of change in their whole team at the moment. The losses of Jimenez and Diop might hinder them a little bit, but I don't think Arbeloa, who is their new manager, is going to do as badly as people think he's going to do. Like, he might get relegated with Fulham, maybe, but he was at Real Madrid last season. I thought he did really, really well with Real Madrid for a lot of patches in La Liga last season. He did well with them in the Champions League. Obviously, with Real Madrid, their expectations is to win the Champions League, win the Liga, and they didn't do either of those. But I still feel like Real Madrid still put on good performances during those two competitions. And let's be honest, Fulham still have a really good squad. It's still got the likes of Iwobi. They did lose Harry Wilson, which is another big blow, but they still got a really, really good squad for them to do. But yeah, I'm going to go with 16th place. I think they'll survive, and I don't think Arbeloa is going to do as badly as people think he's going to do. But like I said, I'm happy to be proven wrong. Maybe Fulham could push a lot higher. Maybe they might go down, but I'm going with 16th place. Next up, in 15th place, I've gone Newcastle United. The amount of players that these guys have lost is highly concerning. I know that I say that word a lot, concerning, but let's be honest, this is really, really concerning for Newcastle. Losses of Tonali, Bruno G, Gordon. People are looking at Lewis Hall now. Loss of Trippier. That's like 5 big players gone, and the loss of Eddie Howe. That's a massive change to that team now, and I feel like the loss of those 5 players and Eddie Howe might hurt them quite big as well. And their new manager, I don't know what he's about. I don't really watch the Saudi League at all. The only people I know that are over there are like Cristiano Ronaldo, Benzema, Darwin Núñez went over there at some point. That's all I know. I know the players are over there, but I don't know the league. I don't really watch it. Because it's going to be the same teams winning it every year, really, isn't it? Because of the quality that those teams have got now. But anyway, I just don't think Newcastle are going to do that well this time around. They might buy a few good players. They might get St James's Park rocking, but I don't think it's going to be as rocking as it was under Eddie Howe. I'm just really concerned for them. So yeah, 15th place for Newcastle. Next up, in 14th place, I've gone with Brentford. Now, from the ranks from 15th all the way to 8th, it was really, really hard for me to place all these teams. So I'll go with Brentford in 14th. Now, like a lot of people, I really underestimated Brentford last season. I thought with all that loss that they had with the likes of Ivan Toney going, Thomas Frank, their manager, and the likes of Embuemo, Wissa, Norgard, all those players going, I thought they were going to have a massive big fall and that they were going to get relegated, but they didn't. They also had Keith Andrews manage his very first league or first team in his whole career, and I thought he did really, really well with Brentford. And one thing I keep forgetting about Brentford, they do the same thing as Bournemouth and Brighton do. They buy players that none of us have heard of, and they turn them into absolute gems. And they did that with Igor Thiago last season. Their top goal scorer scored 20 goals for Brentford, and none of us knew who he was until he joined Brentford. So that's a good thing that Brentford do. It's very hard to tell where Brentford are going to finish. They've brought in some players that you don't normally expect them to sign. Normally they're going out there buying the players that you don't normally hear. But they've gone and signed Jayden Anthony from Burnley. I think that was a good signing. They've got Ouattara from Bournemouth. They bought him last season, but he's a good player. And yeah, I just feel like Brentford are going to be okay. I don't think they're going to be in any sign of danger of going down. I just think they're going to have another good season under Keith Andrews. So 14th place for me. Next up in 13th place, I've gone Sunderland. What a season these guys had last season, finishing 7th and getting in a European spot, and it was their first time in the Premier League in near 10 years. It was absolutely insane from Sunderland last season, where a lot of people were expecting them to go down or just survive a relegation scrap, but no, they took a step further than that and got into Europe, which is brilliant. That being said, I do think European Knights will hold them this time round. I don't think they're going to do as well as they did last season. Obviously, when somebody has Europe to battle with, it does get in the way of your Premier League season that time. So I do think Sunderland might struggle to keep up with both the Premier League and the Champions League, but I do think they'll still have a good season. And will they do the double over Newcastle again? Maybe, we'll have to see. But I don't think Sunderland are going to be in any danger of going down again. Keeping the lights on Granit Xhaka and Brian Brobby are big, big statements there, and I feel like Sunderland will have another good season. So 13th place for me. Next up, in 12th place, I'll go with Bournemouth. Now, just like Sunderland, Bournemouth have got Europe to juggle with. They've got the Europa League to battle with. Quite clearly, Bournemouth have more quality than Sunderland, though, so I do feel like they're going to be able to battle the Premier League and Europa League a lot better than Sunderland will do, because they've been in the Premier League for a while now. They've had enough time to really get a squad that is ready to battle both Europa League and Premier League at the same time. Just like some other teams in this league, well, quite a lot of the teams in this league, I should say, they've got a new manager. They lost Iraola to Liverpool, and now they've brought in Marco Rose from Leipzig, and I don't know much about him at all, really. Just like the new Crystal Palace manager, I do watch the Bundesliga sometimes, but I don't know the managers that well to really understand their style of play. So I don't know how well Bournemouth are going to do next season with their manager, but I do think they've got enough quality to be well away from danger of going down anyway. So yeah, 12th place for Bournemouth for me. I think they'll be completely fine. Okay, in 11th, just missing the top 10, I've got Brighton. Okay, another team that's got Europe, but you might be able to see a pattern here. Brighton have more quality than both Sunderland and Bournemouth. Brighton have been in the Premier League longer than Bournemouth and Sunderland have at this stage, so I do think Brighton will have more enough quality to juggle the Premier League and Europa Conference League this time round. And like I said, they're in the Conference League this time round. They're not in the Europa League. So for Brighton, it might be easier to juggle this time round, because let's be honest, a lot of English teams have won the Conference League now. And I feel like Brighton have a very strong chance of winning it this time round. I feel like Brighton will go very, very far in that competition. And like I said, they still got Hertzler as a manager. I feel like he's done really well for Brighton so far, and I feel like Brighton are currently doing what they always do, which is just like Brentford and Bournemouth. They buy they buy players that we never heard of and turn them into absolute gems. So I feel like Brighton will do everything the Brighton way and stay up quite comfortably, and also be in the Europe race as well. But I'm going to go with 11th place for me. I think they'll be just fine. Now in 10th place, I've got Everton. Had a very brilliant season last season with their first season in the Hill Dickinson Stadium. I thought they did really, really well under David Moyes. I think David Moyes is a perfect fit for Everton. He knows what he wants with the club. He's been with Everton before, so he knows exactly what he wants with Everton. He knows the players that he wants, and I feel like next season, Everton will do really, really well. And I feel like next season, Everton will be in a race for Europe. So yeah, 10th place. Okay, in 9th place, this is where I'm going to put Nottingham Forest. Now, I'm not just saying I'm going to put Forest in 9th because of my friend Josh that you guys have seen in the videos now. I am doing this purely because of the fact that they've got Oliver Glasner now. I think he's a fantastic manager, top head coach. What he did at Palace was absolutely incredible. Just imagine what he could do at Forest now. And I really, really hope that Marinakis gives him a chance and doesn't sack him when something goes wrong. I really hope that Marinakis gives Glasner the bare minimum of about 2 to 3 years at Forest max, because I feel like he could do very, very well with Forest. His style of play is fantastic. I think the signings that they've made at the moment, especially that Ousmane Diomande, that really, really good defender that they've got now, I think that's a very, very good signing. And I feel like Forest are going to surprise a lot of people. Like last season, they didn't do well at all. I think they really, really underachieved. Yes, they had Europe to juggle with, but I didn't think they would be that bad last season. I thought they massively, massively underachieved last season. This time around, with no Europe in the way, I feel like they could climb up the table again. So yeah, 9th place. Now, in 8th place, we always have a surprise. This is where I'm going to put Leeds United. Now, I know a lot of people are thinking, like, why not we put Leeds this high? And like I said, we have a lot of surprises in football. And last season was Sunderland's turn to get Europe. Maybe this time around it's Leeds' turn to get Europe. And quite clearly, Daniel Farke has learned from his mistakes. Before he was in the Premier League with Leeds, he worked at Norwich, and he got Norwich relegated both times, I think it was. And this time round he's at Leeds, but this time round he survived with Leeds quite comfortably, and it looks like he's learned from his mistakes. Their signings have been really good, especially 2 really good ones with the likes of James Trafford and Harry Wilson. I really like those 2 signings. I think those 2 could be really pivotal for Leeds this season, next season. And I feel like if they keep playing how they are and how they were last season, I think like they can do really, really well and get Europe. So 8th place for Leeds. Okay, in 7th place, I've got Aston Villa. Another team that's in Europe, and I feel like Aston Villa already know how to juggle both Europe and the Premier League. So I do feel like they'll be completely fine and go on another race for Europe next season as well. The losses of Morgan Rogers and like today they've just lost Ezri Konsa might be a bit of a blow. And I've also seen links from Saudi going for Ollie Watkins. Don't know how true that is, but there apparently have been some links between Saudi and Ollie Watkins. But their signings have been quite good. They brought in Suzuki, the Japanese goalkeeper. They brought in Manzambi, and they've also just recently got Garnacho on loan. Don't know how wise that one is, but I feel like Unai Emery will do everything he can to try and get Garnacho to be a really good player. But overall, I feel like Aston Villa will be completely fine and be in another race for Europe. So 7th place for me. Next up, in 6th place, I've got Tottenham. Now, at the start of the transfer window, Spurs were actually the first team to really go for some signings, bringing in the likes of Andy Robertson and Senesi on free transfers. They've got Van Hecker from Brighton. They've brought in Dubravka from Burnley. They've also brought in 85 million for Matty Fernandes, 100 million for Tonali. Lots of really, really good signings, and I really like De Zerbi. I think he's a fantastic manager. Did really, really well for Brighton, did well for Marseille, and now he's at Tottenham. looking to work wonders with them as well. I don't think they're going to be anywhere near 17th last this season, this time around. So I feel like Tottenham will massively improve and get back to European spaces. So 6th place for Spurs. Next up, in 5th place, I've got Manchester United. Now, I do like Man United's chances of getting into the top 4, but I do feel they need to do a lot more to really cement themselves as a top 4 club again. Now, let's be honest, this is Manchester United, the biggest club in England, one of the biggest clubs in the world, and you expect them to be near the top every single season, don't you? But they haven't really been like that. This is the first time where they've actually looked like a proper team in some years. Michael Carrick has done wonders with them, getting them into 3rd place, but that was a season without Europe. This time they have Europe, and their transfer business has been very quiet, bringing in the likes of Santos and Tielemans. Good signings, but I don't think that's anywhere near enough for what Manchester United really need for next season, especially now that they're in the Champions League. Champions League is like a whole different kettle of fish. You're going up against the likes of Real Madrid, Barcelona, PSG. You're going up against Inter Milan, etc. You've got a lot of tough teams that Man United could be going up against next season. And I've heard Man United fans say that the positions that they need to strengthen the most are CDMs and left backs. And they think that if those two can get sorted, then they'll be completely fine. I still think they need a few centre backs to really strengthen that back line, because I think their forward line is completely fine, having the likes of Mbeumo, Sesko, and Acuna there, with Doru being there as well. I feel like that's a really good front line there. And their attacking midfield is pretty good. You got Santos Tielemans, they're good signings. And you got Bruno Fernandes there. Like I said, Tielemans and Santos are good signings, but they're not exactly as defensive midfielders. They're more attacking wise on the pitch. But I do feel like they need to do a lot more signings to really cement themselves as a top 4 club again. But with Michael Carrick, maybe he could work wonders with them again. So I'm going to go with 5th place for Man United. Next up, in 4th place, I've got Manchester City. Probably another big shock again, but there's been a lot of change with Man City recently. Losing Pep, I think, is the biggest blow that they've had recently. But literally this week, they've just lost Rodri to Barcelona. That's a huge loss. That's a really big, important player for that midfield gone now. They've lost De Bruyne, Trafford. Now I know Trafford wasn't really their starting keeper. Donnarumma is, but he's still a good backup for Donnarumma if Donnarumma ever gets injured. They've lost Ake. Who else have they lost? They've lost a lot of players, Man City. They brought in Elliot Anderson from Forest, but I don't think he's enough for Man City. And I feel like the game between Arsenal and Man City during the Community Shield, although people will probably say that they treat that game as a friendly, it just showed that it's not Pep era anymore. And Enzo Maresca is a good manager on his day, but I don't think he's going to be as successful as Pep was. So I'm going to go with 4th place for Man City. I feel like it's going to take them a bit of time to get back to where they were like 4 years ago, where they went on and won the quadruple, like 4 league titles in a row. But yeah, 4th place for Man City for me. Next up in 3rd place, I've got Liverpool. The reason why I got Liverpool in 3rd is mainly because of them signing Iraola. That's a really good appointment. That Iraola, brilliant manager, did really well for Bournemouth. And if he can do what he did at Bournemouth and bring that over to Liverpool, we can see a really dangerous team starting to form. I feel like Liverpool could do really well under Iraola. Like, it's insane to think that they've got him now. And I know people won't be surprised because it's Liverpool and they've got a big pull because they're one of the biggest teams in Europe and one of the biggest clubs in England. But I do feel like Liverpool will do really well under Iraola. Even with the loss of Salah, etc., I still think they'll be completely fine. So 3rd place for Liverpool. Okay, in 2nd place, I've got Chelsea. I really like the appointment of Xabi Alonso. I think he's a really good fit for Chelsea, and I think he'll do really well for them. When he was at Bayer Leverkusen, was one of the best seasons that I've ever seen as former manager. Like, making Leverkusen go on a huge unbeaten run. They only lost one game that season, and to take Bayern Munich all the way in the Bundesliga and actually win the Bundesliga, absolute chef's kiss for me. I thought that was a really, really good season for Xabi Alonso, and if he can replicate that sort of thing for Chelsea, and I know it's going to be a lot harder because it's the Premier League this time, not the Bundesliga, I feel like Chelsea might be able to grow back to how they were, where they just win the games left, right, and centre, and really bully teams all over the pitch. Their signings have looked really good. I really think that their current squad, with the likes of Esteval, Cole Palmer, Caicedo, maybe Enzo Fernandez if he's still there. If not, he's probably going to go to the likes of Real Madrid or something, depending on if he's there or not. But either way, I do feel like that squad is going to massively improve under Xabi Alonso, and I feel like they're going to do really well. They don't have Europe anymore, so they can just focus on the Premier League as well as some domestic cups, potentially win one of those. But yeah, I think Chelsea will do really, really well next season, so second place. And of course, just like everybody else, my champions of the Premier League next season is going to be Arsenal. Now, really, really good achievement for Arsenal to win the Premier League last season, so congratulations. If you're an Arsenal fan watching this, congratulations. You earned that. You were really, really good last season. And the only reason why I think they're going to win the Premier League this time around is because they're the only Big Six team that hasn't needed to change a manager. So the players all know Arteta, they all know the style that they need to play. And right now, I feel like they've actually strengthened from the team that was there. That was their last season. They brought in Solis from Club Brugge. I think he looks like a really good signing. Bruno Guimaraes from Newcastle, he's really good. And they recently just signed Ezri Konsa from Aston Villa. So that's three really, really good key signings for Arsenal there. And I feel like they're going to really, really build and go on and win the titles again. So yeah, first place for Arsenal for me. I think they can do it again. So there we have it, guys. That is my Premier League predictions done for this season, and that's my whole official table predictions done for this season as well. I hope you all enjoyed. As always, leave your predictions down in the comments, and don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Take care, guys.